Hi there, my name is Sarah. I'm with the Health Food Shop on North Anthony. At the store, we love to find easy ways to help people add nutritious, balanced meals back into their weeknight routines. One recipe we're very excited about is the cauliflower steak. To make the cauliflower steak, we're going to use a little bit of nonstick spray, red crushed pepper if you like. We have spike, which is a no salt seasoning, garlic, fresh lemon and lime, smoked paprika, got some olive oil, a little bit of fresh cilantro, and of course the cauliflower. One of the most important things about making cauliflower steak is to properly trim the cauliflower so that it all stays together. First thing you want to do is pull back the leaves. You're going to take off the big ones just by hand. They come off really easily. As soon as you have the biggest leaves done, we'll trim with the knife, being very careful. Leave the base on, but come inside the leaf like this to get those little guys out that are tight inside of there. All right, once the majority of all those little leaves are trimmed out of the inside, now we're going to take just a tiny bit off the base, which you can see the base is still intact. We're going to take a tiny bit off of there so that it'll sit down level and we can cut it. Still completely intact there. Now, the way that you want to cut the cauliflower to make the steak is with one cut directly down the center first. Now, this is a small cauliflower and it's going to make 2 steaks, but a large cauliflower would make 4. The next cut is going to be a 1-inch cut through each half. 1 inch there. There's one steak. And then a 1-inch cut on this half. Gives you the other steak. Now you are always going to have, whether you have a big cauliflower or a small cauliflower, you're going to have some little guys that roll off. You can either season those the same way and put them in the oven, or save them for a snack or in a soup or something handy like that. We are just going to work with these 2 guys right here. I see I left a little leaf on there. We're going to trim some of that out. We don't want to eat that. Okay, now that you have your 2 well-trimmed cauliflower steaks, the next thing we're going to do is make the sauce we're going to use to baste the cauliflower. We have here about 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. We're also going to use lemon and lime in this recipe. Now, one thing to keep in mind is as we try to cut out the sugars and the fats and salts from our diet, we have to make the most of the ingredients and the flavors that we have left. So we are going to use the lemon and the lime, but the first thing we're going to do is zest them. You want to make sure you're washing your lemons and your limes before you're zesting them. This is a zester. You hold the lemon in one hand, watch out for your knuckles. You want to run it across this grater just until you get to the white. You don't want to go any farther. That's the pith and it's bitter. You're going to end up with a little zest on the other side of this, which we'll let collect until we're at the end. I'm going to zest about half of this lemon and half of the lime, and we're going to use the juice. There is quite a bit of delicious oils in the skins of these fruits that add a real zip to your food. Now, sometimes limes are a little bit tough, but I think, yeah, there we go. So, on the other side of this zester, we got all this delicious zest. I'm going to scrape that right down in there. Okay, and then half the lemon and half the lime. If you hold it cut side up, you'll be able to save from dumping the seeds in there. Just do a little squeeze with your hand. Then the next ingredient that's going into this sauce is smoked paprika. Smoked paprika is a really delicious way to add a really savory flavor to things. There's about a tablespoon in here. I'm going to add that. I'm going to go with a teaspoon of garlic. I am using a jarred garlic, makes it a little bit easier. If you want to put a little bit of kick or spice to it, some crushed red pepper is very helpful. Here again, we want to get the most out of this crushed red pepper, so I'm going to put it in the palm of my hand and give it a little pinch. That helps bring the oils and the flavors out. There you go. And instead of salt, I'm going to use Spike, salt-free, which is a seasoning that adds a really good zing to things when you're trying to keep the salt out. I got about a tablespoon in there. All right, and that's it. Just going to give it a stir with the fork. You want it to be fairly thick. That's going to help keep your cauliflower from getting soggy. All right, that's beautiful red. Now that that's mixed up, so the next thing to do is baste the cauliflower with our delicious sauce we made. It smells so good. Fresh citrus smells are in the air. Don't over baste, because what will happen is your cauliflower will come out soggy. So we're going to get just enough to coat pretty well. When we're done basting, we're going to brown both sides of this cauliflower steak on a grill pan. Now, I have an indoor grill pan that goes on the stove top. You could easily do this with any kind of saute pan, and we're just going to do that for a couple minutes on both sides to caramelize the outside, give it a little color and a little crunch. Then it goes on a tray and in the oven, and that's that. Cauliflower steak is a great side dish, but it's savory and delicious enough to even be your main entree if you're going to have a vegetarian meal. I am going to get enough basting sauce on there so that it will seep through the cracks just a little bit. And I think that that is perfect. All right, it's going to go on the pan here and over to the grill. So we want to make sure we get our grill pan nice and hot. I am going to spray it with some nonstick spray. You can see we got a little smoke coming off of there. That's perfect. Grill pans are awesome to use inside. You could do this on the outside grill too. That would be delicious. We're going to put the steaks right down on there. Hope to get a nice little sizzle. You can hear the sizzle, and we're going to do some grill marks on there. Caramelize the seasonings and bring out the flavor. It'll take a couple minutes on both sides. We're going to let them sit here. Don't move them. And here in just 2 minutes, we'll peek underneath and see if we have some nice brown grill lines. All right, I'm going to take a peek under here and see if we have some nice grill lines, and we do. So I'm going to go ahead and flip these cauliflower steaks over. Once again, we're not going to move them or touch them for 2 whole minutes and hope to get some nice color on the other side. Seems like a small step, folks, but it's really important. Every little step counts. All right, they look beautiful. I'm going to take them off the grill pan now. They're going to go into the oven next for 20 minutes, just so they'll get tender on the inside. All right, the cauliflower steaks are ready to put in the oven. I'm going to spray a baking pan lightly to make cleanup easier. Place the cauliflower steaks on the pan. They're looking delicious. They're going to go into a 400-degree oven for 15 minutes. Okay, after 15 minutes, our cauliflower steaks are done. Pull them out of the oven. They are piping hot and smelling delicious. Going to use a spatula to get them off the tray. Ooh, those look so good. I'm going to do a little cilantro garnish. You could do parsley. Any herbs that you have and are delicious would work out fine.